Hey, welcome to my podcast. I'm Manina, and you are listening to an episode of Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger podcast. Hey, Inspirers. Welcome back to the Aspire Big, Inspire Bigger podcast. I have a new guest today, Miss Martine Pierre. Thank you for joining me on my podcast.
Thank you for having me. I'm super excited to be here with you.
Yes. We met on the exclusive, exclusive Clubhouse, which is awesome because I'm an introvert. As many of y'all know who, are avid listeners of this podcast and watchers, I'm an introvert. So Clubhouse is like ace for me. I'm meeting people, I'm learning how to network and meet new people. It is fun. I love it.
Yes.
We're going to talk about community building and how it's important to us for the generations ahead. But first, before we talk about that, Martine, tell us about yourself. Tell us what you do, where you come from, who you are.
Well, this is great. This is such a stretch for me to even talk about myself. Okay, so I am most people know me on social media as Miss Martine Pierre. Martine is perfectly fine. I am a native of New Jersey, the shore area, Asbury Park. Second home is North Jersey. I grew up in a Haitian household, first generation. First to graduate with my master's, I went to St. Peter's University, where I majored in criminal justice and international business and trade with a minor in urban studies. I know that's a whole lot I've just said. And then I proceeded to get my degree in criminal justice, my master's degree in criminal justice administration, and hope to pursue law school. That's still out on the table. But at this point of my life, I am embracing my creative side. So I have my business, which is called Her Faith Planning. It's a full service event planning company and brand management. So I've done anywhere from baby showers, concerts for Lakai Entertainment, Sejo, which is all Haitian American band, and he's a Haitian comedian, Sejo, to weddings, corporate meetings. I always found myself doing events or even wellness events, or somehow where my friends would just ask me, hey, how do I start an LLC? How do I do this? So that is my scope of expertise, and I found myself doing a lot of business development, brand management. So I'm expanding in those industries as well. As you can see, it's a whole lot. But I've always been a person that I've never been afraid to jump into new business endeavors. Because I do like politics. I do like being creative. I love the arts and I love music. So really just finding myself and not being afraid to learn. So that's pretty much a bit about me. Aside from that, I love fitness. I love working out. It's such a stress reliever. I love community events. Like I said, I'm Haitian American. I was born here, first generation. So I've been able to work in different communities, in social justice area, social work area. And I find that that's important. So that's pretty much me. A friend of mine once said, I am the curator of vibes. So I think I'm going to take that title and move with it. I love connecting people, love to learn from people. And I think that's one of the reasons why I've never been afraid to, find myself working anywhere. Mm-hmm. Hey, so that's me.
You got things going on, curator of vibes. I like
that. Right. So yes, that's what she calls me. So I'm taking it and running with it.
Run with it. So you grew up in Jersey,
Yes.
But you're Haitian American, and we know
Yes.
I'm literally African American. My father's from Africa, my mother's a Black American,
So
and
you know.
so we know what it is. So what growing up led you to? Let's talk about the criminal justice and studying there. What growing up led you there? I might know the answer, but you tell me.
Yes. So I think what inspired me to go into criminal justice, number one, my mother always used to say, "Girl, you have a mouth on you. You love to debate." I did. I've learned to fine tune that area. That was one. But I think, like I said, I grew up in Asbury Park, which was 1 square mile. So, in in that aspect, I saw a lot of my cousins actually face a lot of injustices growing up, whether they were harassed, um, racially profiled, things of that nature. And my parents were never afraid to inform us that, number one, you should be kind to everyone, but number two, do not be afraid, be aware and be woke about what's going on in America and all around you. So just seeing that and then seeing it all around, where I would just read books or learn, I realized this was. It's always going to be a topic of discussion. So how can I position myself to help and to make others aware of some of the things that we've gone through? So that's where my passion came about with that.
Mm-hmm. That's
Mm-hmm.
that's that's important. I know usually when we're first generation is, doctor, lawyer, engineer, nurse, those are the things. Those are options. You get those options. The
Yes.
option, I don't even know what the fifth option could be. Like,
No, there isn't.
yeah.
There isn't.
Other
And
options. Maybe
there
accountant.
isn't
Maybe you
any.
can work with money. You can be a CEO or something. There you go.
Yes, you can be a CEO of something, but it would be already an established institution as opposed to you starting your own. Uh, so
Starting your own
it
is
right.
foolishness to them.
So right. So as our families growing up, listen, education is vital. It's important. It's mandated. um, but and it's also very difficult because I don't know if you experience that. There's so many other positions where you can grow, where you can be very profitable, and it's not our parents' fault. I think that they want us to have security in for them in a new land, and it being the American dream. But to be exposed to so many different industries, it's like, wow, I
Yeah,
didn't know I could do this.
yeah, it's
Yeah,
overkill. Yeah,
it is.
they don't know the options fully, and it's so funny because my father just had a conversation with me. He was like, "Oh, such and such, it just got nursing degree, and this other one, he got the nursing degree. Maybe you should go for that." I said,
Oh yeah. No, my mom had that conversation with me like maybe 6 months ago, and
yes,
I said, out of all your children, I just want you to know, I will not be the one in the medical fields. Shout out to my brother who has his own telemedicine company, but as far as me, no. I already knew it was either me being creative. I love the law, so being an attorney would be one, but
oh, and that's
no.
so helpful to do law because you can do so many different types of law where you can get your creative juices still to be flowing and still study law the way you want. That's so good.
Right,
But he was
right,
like,
right.
to go to be a nurse. I was like, Dad, first of all, I'm going back to school to become a physical therapist, a nurse, and a physical
Wow.
therapist. What I will have, if I have my own place, if I have my own establishment, I will have the nurse there to help,
Mhm.
if need be. Why would I be a nurse? That means you will be forever working in a state of, if you don't work, you don't receive.
Yeah, you don't. Yeah.
You can't open your own nurse practice. I mean, I guess, but you cannot. as a nurse, you cannot open your own practice. As a doctor of physical therapy, you can. And that's something that's important to me, to go beyond that. But yes, I did. He was like,
Yeah.
if it's easier to be a nurse, then I was like, listen, Dad, sir.
I don't think any industry is easy because number one, it's always going to be work, whether you have to study, whether you have to network after. I think it's all about finding your purpose. And so many first generation, like us, it's very difficult to really say, am I listening to the people around me, or am I going to really find out who am I really?
Yeah.
And a lot of times I feel like our parents, they understand that, but of course they, they have their strong personalities. I have not met one foreign parent that's not strong minded. I think that they do apply that pressure to see whether or not you not in a sense of rebel, but stand up for yourself.
Yeah.
And say like, yes, this is what I want. And I think our parents are like, okay, she's definitely determined, then I'm going to embrace it. Not every parent is like that. Some are, and that's amazing. But at the end of the day, I believe in God. So it's like God has placed that in your heart. So you have to go after that. That was like Noah. When Noah was building the arch, everybody thought he was crazy. They were like, who is this man building this boat in the middle of the highway and bringing all these animals? Like, you know what I'm saying? Like modern day talk. That's what it was. Like, who are you? You're random. You don't wear the hottest clothes. Like you're crazy.
Yes.
And he had a relationship with God where he could say, yes, God, I'll adhere to you because this is your purpose. So at the end of the day, everyone's going to think, oh, you're crazy. But God has specifically given you a direction, a story to be a testament. So I don't think, even if there's two lawyers in a room, two of them have two different stories. Two doctors, two different stories. Whether what inspired them or the route they took to go into law school or med school. So yeah, so it's definitely interesting. Yeah.
For sure. And there's the other thing too that I have never been back to my father's country, but I do know he talks to me about it all the time, and I can tell how it is when you see when people visit or people go back, you see the difference in living. And entrepreneurship is a slippery slope for them, I believe, for parents who were back home, because there's a certain sense of survival there that they have that's different from here. We won't go outside and say, oh, look at all those flowers on that tree. Let me go and pick how many I can and then go to the market and try to sell them so that I have food for the night for my family.
Right.
But they will do that because that's something that they have to do,
Right.
And so I feel like something about entrepreneurship feels a little slippery like that for them. Like, so exactly. You mean you go and pick apple and then find a way to sell it, or what's going on?
Right. Right. And I think that's the connection where they want us not to struggle in that sense, not to take those extra steps. However, if it's your passion, and it doesn't mean that there's 9-to-5preneurs, where they work a 9-to-5 and they're still an entrepreneur, or 9-to-5 in passion projects. I've worked a 9-to-5 plenty of times, because you do have to make ends meet, and that is definitely honorable as an entrepreneur, knowing that, hey, I still have responsibilities in this season. I may not be as profitable as an entrepreneur, so I need to pick up a extra income, and that's fine, because number one, you're being responsible and you're still supporting your purpose, and that's honorable. And many I guess A-list actors, well-known techs, they all have stories of, listen, I used to sleep on a couch. Tyler Perry, homeless. Like, you know what I'm saying? So you have those seasons, and I think sometimes God is testing us to see how far he can go and how much you want what you're asking for.
Right. Right. And how willing, because it's no matter who you are, there comes that point where you're like, I cannot do this, and or I know I can, but this is a lot, and you do have
Mhm.
times, and sometimes you prolong your process because you just need to take a breath, and that breath might take 5 years, that breath might take 2 months,
Oh, I've been there. I am a testament of that. So I started Her Faith Planning in 2010, and prior to that, just doing wellness events, whether it was amongst my church, whether it was amongst Lakai Entertainment, which I've worked for, and I found myself always in someone's committee, always on an event planning panel, always giving business advice, and always like pro women events. And then I was like, okay, let me start this. So I started Her Faith Planning. I had some clientele here and there. Social media was there, but I think Facebook at that time, 2010, was way more popular than Instagram, or and Twitter was kind of dwindling down at that time. So in that aspect, it was just like there were certain tools that I had, but I didn't perfect yet, or I didn't know, and it was through experience. I was getting clientele, I was getting exposure, but I had to take a break because I was just like, am I doing too much? A lot of entrepreneurs slash 9 to 5ers know this. It's like, hey, okay, I'm here, and then we get into this, and then we take a step back where it's like, oh my gosh, I think I'm doing too much. I don't know what else to do. I
Yeah.
don't know which direction I'm going. And I had to really say to myself, number one, am I going to law school? Am I not? Do I want a corporate position? Do I not? And I was literally doing possibly all three at the same time because, foreigners, we hold multiple we hold multiple positions. We like our money, and so I found myself um, really taking a step back. Number one, I'm an ambivert, so I'm both introverted and extroverted. So I can be in a conversation like this, and everyone's like, wow, this is great. And then I am introverted, where I'm like, oh, I need to take a step back completely to myself and think. So trying to find those balances and really saying, whoa. So in the midst of that, I went from having Her Faith Planning, building to a point where I was just like, okay, I'm tired of this. I don't even know if I still want to do this. Don't even know if I want to do event planning. Don't even know if I want to host events. I don't want to network anymore. Yes. Um, and it was just because there was so much information, not sure which entity or where, like, whether did I want to do corporate work? Did I not? Did I just, so I took a step back for a few years to really seek myself and know exactly what I wanted. And so recently I was just like, you know what? I'm just going to rebrand it. And as I was rebranding my company, I had a former client reach out to me, and she said, hey, can you just do this event for me? I said, sure, and why not? Then my mentee was just like, hey, can you do this event for me? Sure, why not? And then from there, I just posted pictures, and one by one, call after call, till I finally I have my first venue, which is 10 Pearl. It's not my venue. I partnered up with the venue. Well, it's a film production slash venue space for celebrations. And that was big for me because like I said in one of the chats, I'm learning to be vocal about my accomplishments. So I was very proud of myself because I'm like, whoa, like I put it out there, and now I'm running a 5,000 square foot space, and the owners lean in on me for strategic advisement of how to run the business, and it's such a blessing because I never knew how to articulate what I was doing.
Right.
And I think that's what brought in the frustration, and for me to step back and say, hey, I'm wearing multiple hats, but how can I tell people this? And I think that's where sometimes us as entrepreneurs, we're looked at, oh, you're all over the place, or people can be judgmental. It's because we're not really connecting everything that we're doing. And a lot of industries have connections. You know, you can be an event planner for the political sector, corporate sector. There's always events, private events. So I had to really say, step back, girl. Really. And there was a personal things as well, going through a transition with my family, and with that, losing a lot allowed me to gain so much more.
Yeah.
So much investment in myself and being still. And so for entrepreneurs, it's okay to say, hey, I'm going to take a step back from this project. I'm not going to take clients in this season. And it's a sacrifice, but it's worth it, because you now can say, okay, how can I now rebrand my company? How can I get better clients? How can I touch this demographic? And that's what I was able to do. And I'm still doing it, still perfecting it. But I'm glad that I did take that break.
Yeah. Yeah. I like that. I think I'm in a space where I'm still gathering the or conceptualizing all of the
Mm,
can do and being able to narrate it properly, for sure. I definitely
right,
deal with not having the words. I do not know
right.
what do you want me to say here. Yeah.
Right. And that's how I felt too. It was just like, how do I say this? Or, like, and it's not that we're not intellects, and it's not that we're not smart. We are. It's just for, I also feel, as introverts, or my introverted side, I can think it. I can think it all day. I know what to say, but to really push myself to be vocal, um, to have some sort of social capital, it's difficult. And I'm great at networking in person. This is my difficulty.
Okay.
Having social media platform, I could write all day, but speaking and being on lives, things like that. So it's like, okay, now you have to push yourself. And that's for every entrepreneur. How can you push yourself in the areas where you don't feel comfortable in? And that will perfect some of your craft, and you'll never know what connections you'll make.
For sure. I think that it's important to know that there are ways to get yourself into a situation, that
Right.
you want. There are ways to do it. Like I joined this meetup call with entrepreneur David Shans, and he has the morning meetup call every morning at 8 a.m. And I've been on there since September. Now I started Aspire Big and Aspire Bigger in 2014 ish.
Uh-huh.
I didn't have the words. Basic way to say it. I didn't have the. I didn't know how to. I started my YouTube channel. I started a women's group just to create a safe space for us to just grow and heal at the same time from whatever it was and what was needed. I have a deep intuitive sense, and I can, God gives everybody gifts, and I know that I'm a healer with because I understand. I can feel and understand thoroughly what somebody's going through. So I understand, you know, that what you're saying is not only what it is, it's something in between the lines. And I can understand that. But to write it down or to even say what that is, that's not something that you can describe really. That's God's gift. And I have a God's gift that I can help you with, like, huh? So and we all have something like that in us.
Uh-huh.
All as believers, we really do gain uh, strength in it more and more as we go, and we connect to God. But it's like how you said, Noah. He was like, "Listen, let me tell you something. I know you like me yesterday, and I was telling y'all the good stuff, and
Right.
what was gonna happen. But then today, I got to start building this boat. I don't know to tell y'all, it's gonna rain." To get
Right, right,
right.
right,
He can't. How was he going to brand that?
right, right,
It could get
right. How do you brand that? How do you brand that?
to do it. So
So yeah, it's interesting. I think entrepreneurs are definitely um we go through a lot of struggles, a lot of ups and downs. I mean, not taken from anyone in any industry, but it comes with a lot of um peeling
yeah,
and taking away and building and understanding and discovering um of self.
yep, yep. It really is. So I'm glad that the ending thought of that thought is ending part of that thought is that I'm glad that I joined that group of entrepreneurs because now to go into a room face to face when networking doesn't seem so scary. Before, terrified, not even
Really.
terrified. Like I think I was explaining this yesterday to some of the entrepreneurs in the morning call, and I was like, when you see in the movie there's a bad guy and he's
And a
decided
good.
that he don't want to live that life no more, and he's like living, watering his lawn and stuff, and then all of a sudden he sees something out of the corner of his eye, he be like, oh, I got a bag of tricks and I gotta pull him back out. That like I'll be in a crowd of people as if I did something wrong back in the day and I gotta watch my back. Like I get
Right.
so like anxious and like, who's behind me? Can you not stand behind me? So I need to be
Right. Social anxiety is real.
Mhm.
There's another term too. I can't remember, but I think it is social anxiety. It is real.
Yeah.
People don't understand like you can be social, but then you can also turn right back into a turtle. So I get it. I get it.
So glad
Um,
that's just for someone who feels like I can never walk into a room of people and just be like, hey, I'm Mo and I do this and I would love to do this with you. I see you do this and like it's true that there's a thing, there's a way to get yourself into those things, and you start off small and then you feel okay to start new things and get into new places and try to be a
yeah.
community.
Yeah, and sometimes it's just walking into a room and listening to what the room has to offer and embracing that. And then once you do, you're able to say, "Oh, I can connect with this person." Like when I was in CH or the clubhouse, as we aka CH, um, my first day I was just listening, trying to understand like what's going on here and there, and then a few days later just stretching myself to speak amongst people, and becoming more and more comfortable. And that's in person networking as well. Sometimes it's just going in and saying, oh, okay, I like the way this young lady speaks, I think we can connect and connect with that her after, and then eventually you'll be able to do it more and more, and then eventually you may be speaking or hosting the a whole networking event.
Right, right. So we wanted to talk about community building and
Yes.
how important it is for the generations to come.
Ooh,
So
yes.
tell me, how important is community for the generations?
Oh my gosh, community is vital.
Mhm.
Without community, there is a plethora of limitations. Um, Even historically, whether it's biblically, American, or African history, Haitian history, any culture, there's always been community. Whether it was community to just support each other, and bartering and exchange of information and or survival, it's always been important. um Even modern day, how gangs originally started, it was just to protect communities. um Networking as entrepreneurs, there's certain things as event planner. I don't know. I actually just started a room today on CH. It's called Event Planners United. I may not know everything. So I think that as a I think community allows us to have new resources, exchange of resources, support, love. You know, love is also community. Society teaches you love, of course, family, immediate family, but there's people who don't have family.
Mhm.
Your family is your community. And that's how the world is structured in general when it comes to community. Like I said, I grew up in a small town, Asbury Park, New Jersey, where there was a lot of Haitian immigrants that came in. My parents, some of my cousins, and family. So a lot of our parents didn't have. Um, they only knew each other through church. Church is another community, and so they shared resources, and um, a lot of them came from, okay, I'm here by myself, who do I connect with? We're raising children. Most of my friends I call, or my extended family, as you may know, are my cousins. I don't look at them any different because we were raised in the same house. Our parents fed us the same way. We all got in trouble. We all got in trouble together. um and so preserving that legacy, last year before COVID, a few of my cousin Moses and I wanted to say, oh my gosh, we used to have Haitian Flag Day and celebration of Haitian culture. And that's very big, New Jersey, New York, Miami, Eastern Parkway. Um, and so Asbury Park used to have those same celebrations. And for years, it was there, but a bit dormant. So last year, we decided to um, um, start an organization called Asbury Park Leaders of the Union, and where we were able to host a Haitian Flag Day celebration. We're like, we'll just cook out, have some people come out. We thought it was like 50 to 60 people. 650 people came out. Literally 650 people came out.
Because I don't know if we got enough space for y'all.
Oh, we rolled deep. I don't even know how big our island is. Not that big for all these Haitians, but
Right.
but we had 650 people come out throughout New Jersey. And it was not only Haitian American, we had all different cultures there. And we planned this event within 2 weeks. We found a park. We said, yes, let's do it. We found local vendors, support Black businesses. We had them come out, and it was an exchange of information. Even the sheriffs of the park were like, "Oh my God, we haven't seen such an event like this in years." Um, so to actually build that and cultivate it, and then see so many young people that are Haitian American that want to celebrate our culture was beautiful, and having people who are not Haitian come and embrace us. And I think the highlight of that was seeing some of the elders in the community come out and show support. And when I say elders, like, they've actively been in the community, whether it's prayer, whether it's giving to churches or resources. And so being part of that now, and being able to take that torch and say, yes, I'm one of those people, number one, makes me feel uncomfortable. But number two, I embrace it because that's what I was taught. That's
Yeah.
what my parents taught me, the importance of community, because it's not, none of this is about you. Your everything is about how you can give to someone else. When you can give them, how impactful can you be? Your legacy is not about you. You see, when Kobe passed, it was about everything that he did was really to be impactful, to teach, um, for the next generation to come. So I think that's the importance of community, for everyone, is just like really embracing the people around you, the connections around you. It doesn't have to be, oh my gosh, I need A-listers or I need this. No, it's the people that are next to you, that are helping you, that are lifting you, um, that can help you, and you can help them.
Yeah, for sure. When you mention Kobe, I automatically think of, it makes me so sad. Every time I think of him, I think of Nipsey Hussle. And
Man, me too. They were so impactful. Chadwick. Let's not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but it's like they what they did was just for the generations to come. Like every waking moment, though they may have had the fame, they may have had the talent, they may have been the forerunner of whatever movement. It was for those who came behind them, and who are going to learn to uh, live in this world after they're gone,
All of this. Yeah.
and that's
Yeah.
what we're all here to do. And that it's so, man, it's so crazy that we I feel like in America, right? Because like I said, I'm African American. My mother's family is from here, Black Americans from the South, and even in that, we all know where we started. We just
Right. We started in Africa.
got left off in different places. So,
Right. Listen. Okay.
a couple few other people, stopped by too, and got left
Right.
out in different places in a different way, but we still the same people.
Right.
A lot of African Americans, I know a lot of my friends, sometimes they're like, oh, I wish I knew exactly where in Africa. It's like, you know what? Honestly, it doesn't really, really, really matter, because there's something in our blood, in our DNA, that is just connected to our home and to our people. There's no way that you could, and there's just no way that you could just not. And once you get a little taste of it, you take it so far. And that's why I brought up Nipsey, because his mother's family is from the South, but his father taught him, the African traditions.
Yeah.
But he was able to take it so far, so
Mhm.
far in so little bit of time. I just think because it just connects. It's like the dots and explode,
Right.
because it's
It
in
does.
it's already in there.
Right. It is in you. Like, um, it is very much in you. I was not fortunate enough to know who my grandparents were. All my grandparents passed away way before I was born, so I didn't have um that aspect where I know exactly um the rich history of my family. Like, I do know certain things, but it's limited. So I it's both are relatable. Um, where it's like, dang, I wish I knew further, because you know how you have some friends that they can trace it back to 1800, 1700. It's like, whoa, this is great. Um, but like you've mentioned, it is in us.
Mhm.
The culture, the way we talk, the way we walk, how innovative we are, it's in us, and that's the beautiful part. We are, and that's community.
Yeah.
Because regardless of, there's things that I see here that if I went to Haiti, I would see. Um, and there's things here, like, if you look at uh in the urban community or hood, however you want to describe it, where you see us and how stylish we are, we love patterns, we love color, and then when early 90s, early 2000, you go into the corporate world with like a bright suit wasn't it.
Yes. Like,
And
oh,
so
you gotta go home.
right,
Change that.
right, right. So, and now, and if you look at our culture here, Africa or Haiti, our culture love colors, we love patterns. It is something within us,
Yes.
regardless of how far we are from each other.
Right.
And there's so many similarities in that, how we embrace natural remedies more, spirituality, whether it is church here or learning some myths in Africa or Haiti. We've always been, as a whole, as a community, very spiritual, um, very bright, and so we're not far off from what our ancestry line have embraced in the past.
Yeah, growing up in Harlem, you get to see. I saw a lot of standing on the corner, right? And I did, and still to this day, do y'all know it's winter outside? It's cold. Go in your house. But I found out, I was watching something, and he was saying, do you know that's in us to do that? The young men
Yep.
in the village, the young men go out and stand in front,
Go out. Yep.
patrol for the village. That's what they do. So when they wake up, they going outside to the front. Then another
Right.
shift comes to stay out through the night. I'm like, y'all don't never
Right.
sleep. I go outside, go to school,
Right.
and they outside. But it's in us.
Right.
It's just
Right.
in our DNA to do that, you know?
Right. Like Lion King, he went out to the jungle. No, but it is in fact true that men are protectors. um and that's how it is. They have to go out. They have to go out and fend. They have to. And that's not just young American black guys on a corner of Harlem or Asbury. No, this is like even our foreign uncles and dads, where they go to the mom and pop store and they're sitting and playing dominoes or spades. And all cultures can relate. You have an uncle or dad that love playing spades, or at the cookout you see the guys on the corner. You know what I'm saying? And that's just the way.
My
And
dad
so
is low key.
we're not far fetched.
No, we're not. My dad is low key because he, homeboy, his wife's family was like, "Oh, we're gonna play spades," and he was like, "I don't think I know how to play that." You know, obviously it's a language difference. He speaks Arabic, a dialect of
Mm,
Arabic, and so he's not gonna know what spades is until he sees it. So he starts playing. He said, "Oh," he started beating everybody. Like, huh. I was like,
yeah.
first of all, don't slamming the cards down like that, like you just
Yeah.
won. Like, no, but I won.
Yeah.
I want to play this.
Yeah.
That's it.
That's it.
It's so
That's it.
crazy.
Yeah. So
And then
our cultures
like,
are far.
what is going on?
Right. 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 So I don't. Our cultures are definitely not far off. I think it's just, you know um when you know your history, it's rich, and you are able to preserve it.
Yeah,
So our patterns are not far off.
yeah, for sure.
Building how entrepreneurship within our communities, within our cultures, are not far off.
Yeah, for sure.
We come from a community of barterers. Like, we bartered. There was no such thing as currency. Like, we bartered. You want sugar cane or indigo, you know? And that's just the way it is. And so now we in this age, as millennials, we are preserving our culture.
Yeah, we are. So, I'm glad that you said that. So, how can we as millennials create a community for the
Mm,
generation that allows them to thrive? You know, we've surpassed our parents in different ways. We want the next generation to be able to surpass us, but also keep what's dear and deep within us within them.
mm. I think one would be knowledge. I think that we live in a age and time where everything is so accessible, and we're so social,
Mhm.
where we're not. I won't say we're not reading, but we don't take the time to. And this is just a general observation. It's no offense to anyone. Um, as a whole, we need to really preserve our history by reading, um, and by listening. Everyone wants to speak now. Everyone has information they want to divvy to everyone else. But listening and speaking to influence. I think that is also something that we need to do, and I hope that the generations to come are able to do that. I think the second thing is really um, preserving kindness and humanity. We live in a time um, where leadership, although there has been so many issues that are now prevalent and open to the eye for those who haven't been woke. Um, I think that there's so much division. So we need, and yet there's so much division, and yes, there's so much mixture in cultures now. where now most people are multicultural or multi-ethnic, and so we need to understand, like, it's not what the eye sees. Like, who are you? Hi, my name is, going back to the basics, because I think a lot of times we just assume and we judge um people without understanding who they are. So I hope that millennials can preserve that kindness that foreigners have, where they're like, where they want to say hi to everybody. Like, mom, I don't need you to stop talking to the lady at the market. I'm just trying to go to the grocery store, pick up some rice, and let's go, right? But but in their heart, it's like they're doing a God thing.
Yeah.
It's a God act
Yeah.
to know that we're all here. And unfortunately, not everyone understands that, and that's fine. But I think that it's our civil and civic duty and spiritual duty to just really, really open our hearts and our minds to others. Um, Not because of their status, not because of their looks, just because that they're knowledgeable and you may be impactful to them, and vice versa. Um, so I think in that way, I hope that we're able to do that as a whole, as millennials, as future. I don't know what the next generations are going to be called, but I hope we preserve the richness of um, our histories. Um, you know, so that's what I hope. I hope that we're not so fast paced where we're we're not really taking in what's going on presently. We're all always on our phones, me included. Where conversations like this that has so many that has rich information, we overlook the details because, hey, we got to be on social media, we got to be on Instagram, so we don't take the time to shut everything down and just really have those intimate conversations or have that intimate time with God. So I hope that we can do that. Yeah.
I like that. I like that, especially when you speak into preserving history by listening, and that's big. That is big. And there is no person on this earth. I don't care what uh culture, what ethnic group you're from. It doesn't matter where you're from. That is not doesn't have a history. And there are people who have a history no matter what it is. And it's so important that we listen to our elders. Just let them tell you the stories about when they were growing up,
Right.
about the stories that their grandmother told them, their grandfather told them about when they did this and that. I just listen to my dad. Sometimes he repeats his stories, but it's good. And he does
Mhm.
repeat it in a different way. He's from a storytelling place. He's not from a place where they go to school. He's not from
Mhm.
the middle of the desert. What they have,
Mhm.
they recite the Quran from front to back, or back to front, and and they know their history. They know who they are. They know their people. We know
Right.
their tribe. We know all those things. But we're not the only culture and the only ethnicity who has that. But sit down and listen to your parents, to the people who have been here before you. And that's for us. We need to ingest that so that we can send that down to the next
Right.
generations. I'm
Yeah.
able to say, if one day when I have children, your grandfather's people are these people, and we're warriors,
Right.
and we're
Right.
tribe, and we do these things. But when you come around and we see that you're on your camel and you're by yourself, we're gonna say, hey, 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 brother, let me help you. Are you hungry? Are you thirsty?
Right.
We're not gonna just let you pass by and say, he's gonna die in the desert. I don't know why he went by himself.
Right.
You know?
And that's the important. That is so important. Just having that and listening to our elders. We're in a generation where senior citizens are kind of thrown to the side, and what we learn in books we can't learn until we experience. So their experience we should definitely preserve. It's rich. It will allow us not to make some mistakes and have some regrets. So I think that is something that I hope and I pray um, that is preserved in and generations to come.
Yeah, and you know what? It's important for us to be able to conceptualize the lessons that we're learning, because I think that a lot of times there's so much wisdom in with the our elders, and sometimes they say things and I don't know what you're talking about. What are you saying? If we could bite size it, I think that would really help the generations behind us, our children, our our nieces, nephews, whoever's around us. That will make it able for them to digest it earlier, so that they have
Mm-hmm.
more time with it and they can develop it a little further than we were able to. I think that's
Right.
for sure.
That's awesome. Yeah.
So we're coming to the ending of the podcast, but I have something called the introvert corner. Okay.
Yes, yes, I'm ready for the introvert corner.
I'm a stark introvert, and in being a stark introvert, I will not do some things, and I'm gonna be okay with that. So, we're going to Six Flags. I will hold your bags and wait for y'all at the bottom. Y'all get on that roller coaster if y'all want. Your guide. Me and my guy gonna sit on the bench and wait for y'all. I can make see y'all have lunch when y'all come down. I'm busy because I know your stomach gonna hurt, but that's your business. So I decided to make an introvert corner because I wanted to learn from people who may go out and do things that I wouldn't. And also I wanted my listeners who are true introverts to have that experience as well, because we deserve to have experiences, even if that's just not part of our DNA or our makeup.
Correct.
All right.
Right.
So there's just three random yet introspective questions that I'm going to ask.
Okay.
You ready?
Okay. I'm ready.
All right. Number one.
Hmm.
What is a subject you wish you knew more about?
Science.
Science.
Deep science. Yeah.
That's good. I think I would agree with you. I can't think of anything else I would want to know more about.
Mhm.
That's a good one. I think that covers a lot too. Deep science. If you get into deep science, you're gonna find
Yeah.
out a lot about the world.
Yeah.
a,
I
lot,
do.
a lot about God, a lot about everything.
Right.
All right, number two. How do you respect others' beliefs while standing strong in your own?
I believe listening and communication. I've been actually blessed to be in rooms where I am either the only Christian, only Black women, only Haitian Black women, only women in the room. Um, and I've been able to listen, or um, different political views as well. I've been able to listen. I've been able to articulate my views without disrespecting the other person's views. Um, and there's times that I don't need to debate. If you don't understand me, that's okay. I respect that you don't understand me. It's not going to change how I feel and my view, but I hope that in the difference, there's some type of inspiration.
That's good. That's good. I think
Mhm.
it's important to know who you are before you walk into the
Mhm.
place. That
Yeah.
helps. That helps. You don't have to be offended by everything.
Yeah. You don't.
That helps
You
you
don't.
understand other people a lot easier.
Right.
Oh, okay.
Sometimes yes, because sometimes when somebody says something and everybody may be offended about it, I'm not offended because it doesn't apply to me.
Right. Doesn't fly, let it fly. Right. Third and
It doesn't
final
apply to me.
question.
Hmm.
What revolution or movement would you join or create?
Um, like if we went back in time.
Anytime, even if it's just now. We had well, we do have a capability. What revolution or movement would you join or create?
If I went back in time, I would love to be part of the Black Panther movement, or I would love to be the only um, female Tuskegee Airman.
Okay.
Um, I'll do one more back in time with my Haitian culture. I would love to be um, in the time where Dominicans and Haitians actually lived with each other and where they bartered with each other. I would like to, because they called each other kings and queens. I would love to live in those times. Those are my three movements historically. If I was to be innovative right now, um, I think I would be doing exactly what I'm doing now, which is really connecting with people from different industries, being a silent impact, which I still, and a silent impact is that I describe it as I don't have to be the loudest person in the room, and they gravitate to me, and that's fine, and I gravitate to them. Still doing for the community without being so, without having to be exposed on social media, um, looking for accolades.
Yeah.
There's nothing wrong with that. Um, but yeah, I think God has allowed me to work in different industries. I always say any job that I have had in the past, whether it's working at a gym or sitting with executives, it's been something that God has ordained me to be in at that time, to either touch someone or not, or just give information. And when my time is up, my time is up there. So I think that I think that's it, and just really building communities, and really giving other people different perspectives that they may not know exist. I hope that's how I hope that's what I'm doing. I hope that I continue to do that, you
Yeah.
know.
That's
So
good.
yeah.
I think for me it would be the same. Now, back in the day, I don't know. I don't know. I
I got three crazy.
see. I probably would be. I don't know. I don't know. It would be. It would be something. That's not here. Maybe something that would happen in the history of my father's country. Something like that. Something.
Mm,
Maybe a revolution.
right,
I told you my father's people is warriors. I might like to fight
right,
too much. I might like to
right.
fight.
Right. I know. Like, I think my history kind of says it all. Like, I would love to be part of the, like, could you imagine being the first female, like,
Tuskegee.
Tuskegee? Yeah.
Yeah, they
They
did
they
wrong.
went through a lot.
Scary. They did them wrong. No. That's why when you said it, I was like,
They did them real wrong.
they did them wrong.
They
Um,
they did.
but for now, aspire big, inspire bigger is what um the movement that I am creating and that I would love to make a big impact with.
Mm,
Creating safe spaces for people to grow and supportive spaces and for people to help other people. You just be able
mm,
to have a. I want to I'm working towards an enterprise where you're healing physically, mentally, emotionally, spiritually, and you're learning a set of skills in order to do that for other people too. Primarily
right,
for women, I want women to have that safe space, but you never know what's going to happen in the future. It might be for men too. So that's
right.
something. That's the movement I'm creating, and that's the movement that's going to be a part of the world for sure.
That's awesome. That is great. Yeah.
Well, I'm so glad that you could join me from a podcast. I'm like,
I'm glad too. I'm glad that you invited me. So thank you. Thank you for being part of my stretch.
yes,
Thank you for doing what you're doing. The Bible says you can have one could chase 1,000, two could chase 10,000. Whenever one or two are gathered in his place, you'll be there. So he'll be there. So you are doing such impactful work. Don't ever think that you're not. I love the quote "inspired to inspire." That was actually in my former bio on my Facebook. It might still be there. I love that. Keep being an inspiration to others,
thank you.
cause and even though other people may not understand, just know that you're being an impact,
Yeah,
okay, and influential.
Thank you. Thank you very
You're
much.
welcome.
Before you do go, I want you to let us know where we can find you with anything that you have coming up, anything like that. Just let us know.
Okay. Well, my social media, I'm Miss MS Martine, Martine, Pierre, Pierre. That's my Instagram name. That's my Twitter name. That's my clubhouse name. My business name is Her Faith Planning, Faith Faith Planning. I'm also the creative director for the Code Vault, which is showcasing Black women cracking the codes to success. We interview different women all the time. So I'm on all those platforms. I am open to connections, hosting events. You can catch me in New York, all over. I travel. so, so yeah. As far as upcoming events, as of right now, due to COVID, everything is pretty much pending. I'm actually in the talks with a group about having some virtual events line up. But if you follow me, I'll definitely be able to promote that, and you'll be able to catch me
Yes,
and connect with me.
I love it. I love it. And we will stay connected because I have things that I want to do for the ladies who are part of my women's group. And
Yes.
for sure, I'm for sure they would super benefit from knowing who you are and getting to know some of the knowledge that you have, pass on to them. So I really
Thank you.
you be safe. Have a
Thank you.
good
You
one.
too.
All right, y'all. Later, y'all.
All right. Peace out.